Back in January, I gave a talk here at this retreat entitled Creating a Life of Heaven on Earth. And in that talk, I shared the eye-opening experience that I had had after enrolling in the online academy course a few months earlier in the fall. I explained that I had dismissed signing up the previous year when it first became available because I didn't think I needed to do this. I've been raised here at Questhaven with these teachings, so I thought, I know this stuff. I don't need to take more coursework on it. But then last summer, as the fall enrollment for the new year began, or was about ready to begin, I realized this is something I need to do. I felt this very strong prompting, and I'm sure it came from my guardian. And thus, a deepening of the spiritual understanding and practice I have experienced this past year began. Well, now, a year later, after completing the second semester, I marvel at where this journey has taken me and how much my life has positively been affected by it. As I shared before, I certainly didn't expect that it would impact my life as it has, not just spiritually, but mentally, emotionally, even physically. And when I contemplated what was causing this, since the information I was studying wasn't new, I realized it was because I was actively putting my faith into practice with the study and exercise offered through this coursework. My life was literally being transformed simply by consciously putting into action what I believed, by taking the time to put my spiritual well-being first. Once I did that, I found it had a ripple effect that positively impacted every level of my being. What began as strictly a spiritual exercise touched every aspect of my life and lifted it. It also revealed my shortcomings as well, how much I had been limiting myself, how lazy I had become, how self-satisfied. And it illuminated areas of growth needed that I had been blind to in the past. Well, not only has this coursework given me a deeper understanding of Flower's teachings, perhaps more importantly, it has inspired a renewed dedication of putting these teachings into practice. Everyone's experience with the Academy will be unique, and not everyone needs the structure this provides for spiritual growth. But for me, the lessons provided, the framework I find helpful in putting into active practice, living a more spiritual life. And as a result, I have found I have a deeper awareness. It's as though all of my senses have been opened just a little bit more. I notice things that I hadn't before. And I'm constantly amazed at the synchronicity when I am studying lessons and the events or experiences that will occur during that same time frame. This past year has been a period of redefining myself, not limiting my abilities by holding myself back, and no longer just accepting the negative traits I'm aware I have and know need changing, but haven't done anything about. And I'm actively working to now bring about change where it's needed. And I find myself calling on divine help more frequently. Well, while I have found value in all the lessons, the ones that stand out for me as being particularly helpful came during the second semester, and those were the lessons on prayer and meditation. I found myself slowing down my pace of study during these lessons It was as though I just wanted to savor all that I was taking in. And I spent more time on these lessons than any others. What I discovered was how ineffectively I have been praying all my life. You know, Flower was always so thorough in her prayer work, yet very brief. She gave short, succinct prayers for the most part. And she explained that's because they're much more powerful that way. I think we humans can often get very wordy, and that makes a lot of work for the prayer angels who have to lift these prayers and actually put them to use. So I found a deeper understanding of the importance of doing this, and I felt like I began to pray more effectively for the first time in my life. And then with meditation, you know, I found myself very familiar with the techniques that are offered and the guided meditations, but perhaps because of a cumulative process of work since starting this academy, I was able to experience all of these at a much deeper level when I was working through these lessons. I found myself approaching meditation in a new way. Before, meditation had primarily been a mental exercise for me, but somewhere in this journey, I made a shift. I moved from my mind to my heart, and in so doing, I moved from thinking to feeling. And this really allowed me to go deeper and have more of a direct connection with that which is higher. Well, this shift is what has impacted me the most in my daily living. And it's just an example of what can happen when we open ourselves to conscious spiritual growth. This deeper connection with the divine emerged through the practice of the alignment technique Flower has given us. Now, I've used this sporadically throughout my adult life, but it took on a life of its own this past year. And I think it's because now I connect through my heart. I can actually feel divine light coursing through my sevenfold being. And I physically feel my body's being aligned. Now, I have had this happen previously, occasionally, but now it happens every time. And I become much more steadfast in this practice. I feel that the technique has become new to me in a deeper way because of the journey this academy course took me on. And of course, it's ever evolving. The interesting thing was that connection happened prior to getting to the lessons on meditation and where we go over the alignment technique Flower gave us. So it was already in the process, but then once I got there to actually study the lessons, again, I was able to go even deeper with it. And that has been the greatest benefit I have received so far from this academy course, because the academy provides opportunity to put knowledge into action, to go higher and deeper than we ever have before. And that's what makes it such a spiritual adventure. Reverend Blake has said, whenever we set an intention for spiritual discovery and growth, we come under the attention of those on the inner who work with our Lord Christ to help us make progress Godward. And we are so deeply grateful for that.